Simon. You're listening to a daily editorial on the Korelin Economics Report. So I'm Al Korelin. Appreciate you joining me. Originating this editorial, as most of the others here from the Cambridge House Investment Conference up in Vancouver, British Columbia. Got all of the big guns here. My buddy Doug Casey is sitting with me. The biggest of the big, Doug. You are a very avid polo player, and I'm a really avid golfer. And I have to tell you something that I learned from golf where I'd like an opinion from you. I am finding from my liberal golf friends and my conservative golf friends, everybody is getting fed up with politics as usual. Everybody is getting fed up, at least in my circles, with economics as usual, okay? It doesn't matter what side of the aisle they support, you know, the Republicans or the Democrats, they're all getting really fed up. There's less and less faith, in my circle of friends anyway, is being directed towards the federal government and the state governments. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, I would totally agree with you. But on the other hand, I don't have much patience with either Democrats or Republicans, either liberals or conservatives, because the way I draw the political diagram is not left and right, but I think that you ought to have an x-axis and a y-axis. And one should be economic freedom and the other should be social freedom. And the problem with the Republicans is they say they believe in economic freedom, but they don't really.
Absolutely don't. Absolutely.
But they totally don't believe in social freedom, and they admit that. And on the other hand, you look at the Democrats, they say they believe in social freedom, but that's a lie, and they definitely don't believe in economic freedom. So I think that we ought to have a maximum of freedom on both axes. Maximum of economic freedom and the maximum of social freedom. But the world is evolving towards having a minimum of both. It's going in the direction of fascism, socialism, Hitlerism, Stalinism. It's the worst of both worlds, not the best of both worlds. It's very disturbing, actually.
It's very disturbing to me. You know, we have a mutual friend in Congressman Ron Paul, and I've learned a lot from the congressman, from, you know, his political views, etc. Ron he took a real shot at changing the philosophy of this country when he was attempting to get the nomination, both in 2008 and in 2012. He educated a lot of people, but he couldn't push it over the line. Why do you think that was the case?
Well, there are a couple of points of view. I mean, one law that I believe in, and I don't believe in many laws, is Pareto's law, which is the 80-20 law. 20% of your salesmen make 80% of your sales, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm of the opinion that 80% of humans are basically decent. Get along, go along, they don't want to hurt other people. And this makes me optimistic that perhaps if they just can be brought to understand some basic concepts of freedom, that they'll vote that way in the future. Although I've got to tell you, I don't believe in voting because typically the worst people want to get into public office, not the best people.
Doug, I got to tell you, I'm a real believer in taking action and doing, and that's what I try to do on this show. I certainly express my views, and I certainly try to get as high a listenership as I can for people whose views I respect, and that certainly includes yourself. I'm starting to kind of lose faith, though. It's interesting. I would say in the United States right now, there's a good, solid, better than 50% of the population that simply doesn't care. They simply are not willing to look at reality. And, I got to tell you, man, I hope to hell that changes, but I don't know if it's going to.
I think you're right. It's not. I mean, that was one of the few good things about this last election with Obama against, what was his name, Romney. It's that it was pointed out that half of the people in this country are slopping at the public trough. Half of the people in this country...
Better than half.
Yes, are living at the expense of the other half. And this is unsustainable. They're cultivating bad habits. Their numbers are growing, and the number of people on food stamps is going up every month. It's closing in on 50 million. No, this is a total disaster in the making.
It's a total disaster that has been made. All I can do is, I want to stress, and something that we stress on this program is, damn it, get out there and make a difference. Do something to help. Don't just sit and complain. Would you agree?
I would, but number one is just like when those masks come down in the airplane, they say, put your own mask on first and then help the guy next to you. And that's what you've got to do here. It's save yourself first. Make sure that your own house is in order financially and otherwise before you go on to trying to help other people.
I believe that's what I was trying to say. Doug Casey, thank you so much.
Thanks, Al.